so much everyone for your patience. We are glad to have you here, and once again a very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to our global attendees. If you are working with Dynamics 365, you already know that managing notifications can sometimes become complex than expected. And this is why the session we have conducted to help you solve this problem with our add-on Notify 365. But before we get started, let me briefly introduce you about Solution IT Services. Solution IT Services was founded in 2011. Solution is a Microsoft solution partner in data and AI, specializing in Dynamics 365, Power Platform development, custom app development, artificial intelligence-based services. So as you can see on your screen, these are our add-ons which we have developed so far, just like Notify 365 to help Dynamics 365 user as well as Power Platform users simplify their operation. And we also operate additional business division which you can explore on our website. Today's session is a part of our continued efforts to help organizations like yours get more control and clarity inside Dynamics 365. But before we get started, let me briefly introduce you about our today's host, Mr. Nikhil Gehlot. He is CEO, co-founder and technology specialist at Solution IT Services. With over 25 years of experience in technology leadership, at Solution, he leads innovation in Dynamics 365, Power Platform, Azure, and AI-based solutions. Now, Nikhil, over to you.
Thank you, Aditi, for the warm welcome. Thank you. I hope you can hear me well. Aditi, can you please confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, so getting into the session, and again, thank you very much for joining in. And why are we here? So we are here because normally in our day-to-day lives of our Dynamics CRM systems, business users come back to us with these set of simple requirements. For example, on an opportunity, when an opportunity is created for more than X dollars, I want somebody to be notified. When a lead is assigned, I want somebody to be notified. When an invoice is created or updated, I want my finance team to be notified. So there are so many notifications, so many alerts, which are very simple in nature, a very common business requirement from every business unit. I'm sure you would have faced something of this in your environment. So what is the solution in Dynamics right now? Currently, the solution is to write a Power Automate flow or a workflow that gets triggered off based on those conditions and then sends out email notifications. So is there a problem? Actually, Power Automate flows are good, right? But like everything has a good side and the bad side. In case of this, it can create a lot of challenges. So writing a Power Automate flow for every notification requirement that comes from the business user has its own set of challenges. For example, as a business user, depending upon how complex your notification is or rules of your notification is, you may be able to do it yourself, or you might require an IT team coming in. Now, that's all fine, but the moment you have more people or more teams coming in that can introduce dependencies across teams, use turnaround times, resource availability, those delays are there. And then slowly you won't even realize that there are so many Power Automate flows into your environment that are just doing notifications, and you have like a huge number of flows running. So maintenance, management, change management suddenly becomes a big overhead. And what if some Power Automate flow fails? Normally, you would have to need to go into the Power Automate flow online and check why it failed, what was the error, and if it failed or not. So then the problem is you are crossing the Dynamics boundary and moving into a different Power Automate or powerflows.com to figure out what's going wrong. Now, for complex needs, this is fine, maybe acceptable, but for things like notifications, we think that for simple scenarios, it's more of an overhead. So what's the solution? So based on our learnings, we have come up with an add-on called as Notify 365. So first and foremost is it allows you to configure event triggers. So in the examples that I take, or you can draw parallels in your environments, typically something needs to happen on a create of a record, update of a record, or a delete of a record, right? And like in our example, we spoke about opportunity gets created, which is more than X dollar amount. So the second thing is what you're trying to do is not every opportunity create, but I need a filter which would say that it is an opportunity of estimated revenue more than X dollar. So the Notify 365 allows you to define event triggers and filters so that the notification gets triggered only on those specific conditions. Second is dynamic recipient selection. If we want to hard code saying send this email, on this case, send an email to Nikhil or send an email to, I see Chris being there, send an email to Chris. So that is supported. But what if it's a little dynamic? I want to send it to the account owner, or I want to send it to the project owner, and I want somebody else into somebody in CC. What if somebody is not even there in my CRM? So what do I do then? So it handles all these various conditions, which is under the dynamic recipient selection criteria. Now, this is an interesting thing. So we started with, we don't want IT team or complex IT setup to be there. So we have tried to make it as user-friendly or a business user-friendly as possible. And assumption is that if you are using dynamic CRM, then we all are familiar with advanced find. And on the advanced find, you have a feature called as download FetchXML. That's the most technical skill that you would need to actually operate on Notify 365. And as we go forward, we'll see to it. Next is centralized notification logs. So all of these notifications have a centralized log where which notifications are successful, which failed, which were partially successful, all is logged within your Dynamics CRM environment itself. So you don't need to go outside of Dynamics or Dataverse environment to check something succeeded, something failed, or what happened. And finally, multi-channel support. So right now, the add-on, we are starting with an email support, but as we grow this add-on, so in-app notifications, push notifications, SMS notifications, WhatsApp notifications, the idea is we'll keep on adding multi-channel. So you don't have to worry about those connectors and everything in the Power Automate, and you can use the same add-on to send notification and alerts across multi-channel. So how do we do it? We talked about it is business user friendly. So there are 4 steps to it. You define the event trigger. You define the filter for the trigger. So create of a record, create filter is, let's say, opportunity of size X. That's my trigger filter. Then you configure notification details, like which channel do I want to send. Right now it's email. Which email template do I need to use? So all those configuration of notification details. And finally, you define the recipients who should be receiving this notification. So all is done in every scenario is done in these 4 simple steps. So let's look at few scenarios and how it would work in a Dynamics environment. So scenario 1 is very simple. So what I want to do is I want to say that on create of a lead, let's say if your organization is offering multiple services, let's take Solution. So we are doing licensing, we are doing professional services, we are doing mobile app development and so on. So let's assume when a lead is created for sales target area, which is licensing, I want it to go to one specific user who leads the licensing team, right? And then we also want that the lead submitter, whoever has submitted the lead, an acknowledgement email should go. So traditionally, like I said, this is still doable. We go through a Power Automate flow or a workflow in CRM and write this. Let's see how we can do this in CRM using Notify 365. Let me switch windows. Just give me a moment. Yeah. All right. Now you should be seeing my screen, which has the Notify 365 app. The moment you install our solution, you will get this dedicated app. I have some advanced finds open. Okay, so this is a simple advanced find, which is I'm saying email messages created in last 1 hour. So just to test our email notifications. And then we have some other add-ons, advanced finds. So like I said, that max complexity or technical capability that you need to know is how to do advanced find. Okay. So let's go to our Notify 360 first scenario. This is the event trigger. On the configuration, you have the event trigger. To define a new event trigger, you will simply say a new. But for the sake of time and the demo, I have pre-configured these demo scenarios. So let's look at on create of a lead when the sales target area is licensing. I want to send it to a specific user. So you give a meaningful name to the trigger. Okay. We select an entity name, lead, and we select the action that it is create of a record, update of a record, or a delete of the record, right? And notification type is email. As and when we add multi-channel support, the notification type will start showing more and more channels to send out notifications. Then we go to the configuration of what should be sent and who should be sent from. So in the from, you can use a specific user, specific queue. So in this case demo scenario, we are using Solution Alerts as a queue. And because this channel notification type is email, we are getting this option of email template. So we have created a template when lead created for a licensing. Okay. So that's the first scenario where we define the event trigger. So this is the event trigger on create of a lead. The second thing, I need to give the filter criteria. So filter criteria is a simple fetch XML here. So what you need to do is there is a lead, which status is open. I would go sales target area is equal to licensing. Okay. Download the fetch, whatever is available, copy and paste here. That's all. That's the level of technicality we need to go. And then we have defined the notifications on what kind of notifications needs to be. So that's the event trigger. Now let's define our audience. If I go to audience, so which are event recipients. So this is the trigger on create of lead. If sales target area is licensing, I will give it a name, and it's a very simple scenario where I said that it is going to the licensing sales manager. So let's assume I am the licensing sales manager. It is going to me in the to scenario. Very soon we'll see whatever is coming at the bottom. But if you wanted to send it to a CFO or a CEO or something like this, those can be hard coded as 222. If a contact or account or somebody is not there in your system and you still want to send it, we also support free text. So you could do comma separated free text mail IDs, right? So you could do that as well. So this is how you define a very simple recipient. Along with the sales target scenario, I also wanted to send out an acknowledgement to the submitter of the lead saying kind of thank you for submitting and we'll get back to you. So again, the trigger will remain the same on create of the lead. Okay. And this time the email template is send acknowledgement on lead create. And as you notice, there is no filter criteria here. That is because I don't need any filters here. I want to send an acknowledgement to every submitter who has submitted a lead to Solution. So that's why it needs to get triggered on every create of the record. So I am onto my lead. Let me create a new lead. Okay, this is the sales target area that we were talking about. Let me select licensing. I will say M365 E3 or E5 license is required. And let's say is Mark Janssen this time. And this is the email ID. And business unit is, let's assume this is our US business unit, which is Solution Inc. Okay, and I'm going to save the email. This should send an email to me and also a response to admin1977@yorkmail.com, which is the lead acknowledgement. So let me save it. There is a duplicate found. That's okay. I'll ignore and save. All right, let's go into our email messages that has been created in the last 1 hour. Let's run through. I'm not seeing, let me go to the notification log and I can see that the lead is pending here and it's successful. So this also gives you a demo that this is the centralized notification log where you can track the status reason. So if I go back to my email messages, I should be seeing here 2 messages. So the first message is to the sales licensing owner, which is me, Nikhil Gehlot, and it is regarding that particular lead. And if you'll see the message, it would have used the template that we spoke about. Sorry, I clicked on the user. Let me click on the mail. Yeah, so there is a new lead created for licensing. It's gone to me, right? I need to review and I'll assign a proper salesperson to take the lead forward. Similarly, if I go to the second scenario, this is an email going to that lead, whoever submitted the lead, and it is talking about Mark Jansen, and it's thanking him and telling him that we will get back to him shortly. Now, just to test it out, let's create another lead. This time we will not create a licensing type of lead. Maybe we'll take some different type of lead. Let's say digital marketing services, need SEO and SMO. Okay, this is going to whatever XYZ unit. I will use a name here. Let me save it now. Because this does not meet my first filter criteria, email should not come to me. A pure acknowledgement should go to Ankita Rajput. Maybe I would say ankita@gmail.com. Okay, let me just save it. All good. Let's check the notification log. Everything is showing succeeded. Let's go and check our advanced find. Let's refresh it. And you see another, just one more email going only as an acknowledgement email to Ankita, thanking for her inquiry, and we'll get back to you. This time, it does not trigger out a licensing team request. So that's the very simple first scenario. I hope you're getting a hang of it. Every scenario that I'll go through, it's just the same 4 steps that we need to do. Scenario 2 is a little more complicated. So in our dynamic CRM, we also have a project management module where you can create user stories, to-do items, tasks, and so on. And you also have a project. So this time, what I want to say is, when a user story is marked as ready for review, when the developers has completed the development and a user story is marked as ready for review, I want to send out a notification email to QA and CC to project manager. Now, why this is a little complicated requirement? Because at a user story or item level, we don't have these attributes directly. It's at a certain hierarchical level. For example, at a project, you have project members, and project members have different roles: project manager, QA, tech lead, and so on. So we need to figure out from that level who are my dynamic recipients. So let's go to our Notify365, and this is the scenario we are talking about. All right. I think I click it too fast, so it will be on to do. Okay. So the moment this time the action is on an update of a record, it gives me another field. Okay, which record do I want it to get triggered off? So I want to send an email to the tester CCPM when a user story is not ready for review. So the status column is called work status, right? Notification type is email right now. It's going from a queue, and the email template is send email to reviewer and PM. Okay. And this FetchXML is again the similar FetchXML. The only thing that we are talking about is item type is a user story, and the status is ready for review. So that's my filter criteria for the event trigger. Okay. Now let's come to the dynamic recipient. All right. Now we have got some which looks a little complex, but actually it's very simple. So in the 2, we want it to go to the QA, and in the CC, we want it to go to the PM. Now, like I said, again, you at max, the skill that you need is an advanced find, and I will show you this advanced find. So for example, the advanced find is as simple. We go to the employee. Employee is part of a project member where their role is equal to project manager, whose project contains that particular user story. So the moment I know this hierarchy, I download this XML and paste it here. That's the hierarchy. From an employee, I go to project member, I get the role, and then I see that this is the item within that particular project. Now, these fields here are talking about which is my emailable field. Right now here, as we can see, it is the email address, and here also it is the email address. So that's all I'm copying and pasting from here. In future releases, we aim to even automate this and make it even more user-friendly and productive. So this is how we define event recipients. Now let's test this particular scenario. I will go to this particular user story. Okay. So this is a user story about Notify365 project where we are trying to define event filters. And let's assume all the development is done. Reviewer, as you can see, is Samya. If typically I will open the project, there will be a project manager assigned to it. Now I will go ahead and mark the status as ready for review and save the details. All right, let's look at our notification log. So this is the support request, which is the internal name for that user story. It's pending. Let's refresh it and it's successful. Let's go to our email messages. Right now we see 3, which was the previous lead examples. And now we see one more, which is Notify365 user story. So if we see this email here, it has taken the 2 and CC. 2 is the reviewer, which is Samya. CC is the project manager, and it is using the template and informing them that the user story has been marked for review, project this, item number this. Maybe you need to start testing it, right? So it's ready for tested. So this is a little complicated user's dynamic recipient scenario, but even for that, all you need to know is advanced find. Now let's look at the third scenario, where let's assume, and this is the scenario that I want to show how the notification logs can help you figure out what went wrong if something goes wrong. So there is a deliberate error that we are trying to create and the scenario is of a partial delivery. So the scenario is, for an account, you always have an owner and you normally also have a primary contact. Now, if an address changes or some bank detail changes on an account, I want the owner and the primary contact to be notified that there has been a change, something at the account level. And if you have done it good, else please contact us and ensure that the information is accurate. So that's the third scenario. But in this scenario, deliberately, what I've done is I do not have an email address on my primary contact. To show you, this is my account. Nexora Global, it's a fabricated dummy account, and I am the owner for this, right? And there is a primary contact. So if I look at Kelly on primary contact, you don't see an email, send email, because there is no email address defined on Kelly right now. So how will the system behave if these triggers are defined? So if I go to event trigger and say, I wanted to send an update on an update of a record, which is for an, just hold on, let me give it a refresh. Yeah. So I wanted to send an email to the account owner and primary contact on account entity, update of a record. And as of now, I've said, if somebody changes the country, you can select multiple filters, maybe different address information, bank account information, or whatever. So you have the choice of selecting more than one attributes as well. Okay, no filter criteria, because the moment this changes, I want a notification to go out as account updated. And who will be my event recipients? I can see from here also and open it. So recipient is my primary contact in 2, and the owner, which typically is a system user in CC. So again, a fetch XML from an account, who is the owner. I figure out the owner ID and their email address, and contact and their email address. Okay, let's try this scenario and see what happens. Remember, Nikhil has an valid email, and Kelly does not have an email, and CRM will not allow to send out an email. So let me go ahead and change it. Okay, SFO doesn't look correct. This should be US. So I'm correcting it and maybe changing the country back to US. And I save the record. If I go to my advanced find of, emails, I would see a notification now, which is account information updated regarding Nexora. If I open this email, there were there were 2 things, one in 2 and one is CC. The 2 was primary contact, CC was owner. But as you see here, the 2 is empty because there was no valid email address, and CC still goes through to Nikhil, and it is informing that the account has been updated and please make sure the information is accurate. If I go back and check on my notification logs, this time it would have said partially successful. Okay, if it fails completely, then it would land up in the failed thing. But here it was partially successful. If we open it, it tells you that the recipient ID right now does not have an email address. Future releases, instead of ID, we will have actual names, like maybe Kelly Jones does not have a valid email address or something like this. So it tells you the exact email why it failed, or there are no subscribers or 0 recipient found, and so on and so forth. So again, a dedicated place where people can come and look, figure out what went wrong, and then make the corrections. All right, so these were the 3 scenarios I wanted to check. If you have a question, maybe put it in the chat and we can take it at the end. Maybe just 2 more minutes. So just outlining some benefits. It supports event-based communication, create, update, delete with specific filters. Yeah.
I want to ask, sir, these dashboards are made in CRM, Microsoft CRM?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So it supports event-based notifications. It works across all the modules: sales, service, marketing, custom entities. If you do not have dynamic CRM, and if you're using pure vanilla model-driven app with Dataverse, it even works on that as well. It is completely configurable. We saw we can define those rules, filters, and business users can work on it without too much dependency on technical teams. Quick change management. You can come back, look at the problem, add a notification, modify a notification, rectify a particular error from this perspective. And a couple of things that we did not list down here is, then you don't need to go through the complete maintenance and management of so many workflows that we are talking about. You don't have to have those delays of turnaround times, you requesting, then somebody creating a simple triggers on Power Automate Flow, and so on and so forth. Right? We have a clear roadmap line for this Notify365. First and foremost is we plan to publish this on Microsoft App Source very soon. So you should be able to try it out from Microsoft App Source once it is published there. Second, add multi-channel supports. The next 2 in line is push notifications and in-app notifications, and then maybe SMS, WhatsApp, and other coming in line. Productivity enhancements, like I spoke about, maybe instead of every time I advance find, we can give a view. Instead of the error message showing the ID, it should show the record name to make it more evident. So those kind of productivity enhancements are in line for the future. So key takeaway, Power Automate are not bad, but things where things are so simple, like I want to send out a notification on simple conditions, maybe it's an overkill and has its own set of overheads. So Notify 360 takes you from writing and developing and maintaining the Power Automate flow to a very simple configuration driven notifications and alerts. And as of now, till the time it is not an app source, please contact us. We offer a 30-day free trial for this. Feel free to reach out to us via email, and we'll be happy to provide you with a trial installer where you can install and try this out in your environment.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. It was very insightful session.